the tune of something with song, or you can just fade it down whenever you want.
Huh?
You can fade it down whenever you want.
Oh, okay. Cool. I just distracted by all the shiny things. Hello and good evening. You are listening to WRUU-LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. You are listening also to Let's See Who My Friends Are. I am your host, Ray Parr. You guys know Let's See Who My Friends Are is an opportunity every Monday to get to learn about, someone that is here in the community, here in Savannah, and just to get to learn about someone else, just period. Tonight, my guest here at the station is Miss Love Shamar. Please introduce yourself first, full name, and let us know who you are.
Hi, everybody. My name is Shamar Starks Ward, and I go by Love Shamar as my poet and stage and my name for what I'm doing here now with the arts and everything that we're doing in the Savannah spoken word cultural arena. So you can call me Love Shamar.
Awesome. I met Miss Love Shamar at poetry night at Fire and Jazz Poetry, and I went out one night just for the opportunity to hear others express themselves. I'm like a closet writer. I write things down, and she was coming around with a clipboard asking folks to put their name down. And my first interaction with her, I remember, was like, no, I'm not gonna do it this time. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna be inspired, and I absolutely was. And
awesome.
Yeah,
that makes me happy. And you were shy.
Very much so.
But one of the things I do is make sure that everybody in there, I can tell. Some people, I'm like, I can tell that you're an artist. And I know people think that I'm playing, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll ask you every time you come, are you going to get on the mic tonight? Are you going to get on the stage? And that time when you said, I'm going to get on, I said, all right. And you rocked it, too. You are very poetic.
Oh, thank you very much. But I mentioned that to say that I know that I'm not the only person that has had that experience with you. I've seen other people have the exact same experience.
Yes, I will stalk you till you get up there.
Absolutely.
I got people that's not poets getting up there and doing stuff, and it's awesome. It's self-expression. Mm-hmm. It's group therapy. It's get whatever it is that's on your heart and on your mind out. Express yourself.
Exactly, and I love that about you in that sense that you are very much motivational in that way to help people to kind of express themselves and kind of tell and put down on there in the poetry world, kind of put it out there to everyone, like you said, what's on your heart and what's on your soul, and it is group therapy.
Yes, ma'am.
So I absolutely wanted you to come on here today and, introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Like I said, when we met in that setting of poetry, and I know that is something that is dear to your heart. So hopefully at the end of the night you can read us a poem or something tonight.
Sure,
or,
of course.
It's just something so that others can hear you. But tell us, when I asked you, you kind of gave me what your professional title is. So tell us about that.
I am a loveologist, love coach. This is something I've been certified to do for about 8 years, but I've been in the profession for about 15, where I am a coach for couples on how to better communicate with one another and how to resolve some of the issues that they may have in the bedroom. I was more of a hands-on, let's talk about this thing and see what we can do to improve your life. Yeah. Your intimate life.
That's
much
wonderful.
better. I'm retired now. And I switched my focus. Instead of concentrating on couples, now I'm a self-love coach. And I think that what I learned over the 15 years of talking to so many different couples and single people looking for relationships and wanting to find love and be able to express that love or be loved in return, all this love, that the main thing that people were missing was self-love.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you don't love yourself, I don't care how many coaching lessons you get, I don't care how many times you sit with me, how many sessions that you get, how many books you read, your relationship is not going to be successful with someone else.
Absolutely.
Until you have a successful relationship with yourself.
Absolutely.
So now with my poetry and just being able to help people to express themselves, which is loving yourself first. You need to know yourself. And as you know yourself, expressing yourself actually helps you to be able to know yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my focuses now.
Self-love.
Self-love. Yes, ma'am. I had to stop. I said, you know what? I'm getting the same couple over and over again.
With the same issues and the same complaints.
Same complaints. And it's not going to change until you start working on self.
Yeah. That's funny because earlier today I was having a conversation and we were talking about just relationships. Actually, we were talking about mother-daughter relationships. And we're talking about, and I was telling a young lady, I said, you can't resolve any relationship unless you resolve the one that you have with yourself.
Yes.
Because there's so many negative things that we would say to ourselves, so many vile things that we'll say to ourselves or even do to ourselves. And then, you turn around and you're like, I would never do that to that person. I would never call that person that name. But in your mind, you continue to do so.
To yourself. Oh,
and,
man. Yes. You are preaching to the choir. We're on the same page with that. It's so important. And so that's why I find that writing the poetry actually helps you be able to see what you're thinking. Yeah.
When did you start writing poetry?
When I was 16, I read a book by Nikki Giovanni. And honey, you couldn't tell me I wasn't a poet after that. I wrote so many Black Power poems. It wasn't funny. She inspired me, and also Maya. Just being, I think I read some Toni Morrison things, and she had written some books and some stuff like that, and so it just really put me on the path to not just expressing myself, but expressing my unique self and finding my own voice. And it was, it's been a wonderful ride. It has been a wonderful ride.
Yeah. Awesome. The first question I usually ask guests when they come on here, I say, describe yourself and who you are in the community. I think you've, sufficiently answered that question.
I have a little more.
Okay, go ahead.
So I am the host of Fire, Jazz, and Poetry. We meet every other Wednesday at Exclusives Bar and Grill. We start at, if you're going to get on the stage, sign up starts at 7:30. We start at 8. It's a $3 admission, and I'm also a member of the Spitfire Poetry Group. They kind of got me when they saw what I was doing, and I'm extremely thankful to them because I have been inspired more as an artist, watching these people that are actually spoken word artists. I'm a poet. And to see a spoken word artist get up there and spit poem after poem and have every line memorized, and sometimes I'm still up there reading my stuff off my cell phone, so they have actually inspired me to do better as a poet, and they are some giving, loving, intelligent people, and I'm so blessed to be a part of their group. Also, you can find me in the Savannah Tribune. I am the featured poet, so the paper comes out once a week, so I'm not in every week, but I am in. So you can look there. You can go on their website and put in my name, Shamar Ward, and find a couple of the poems that they put in that they liked. And I think that's it. In the community, that's about all that I'm doing.
That's about all she said.
So I'm at every poetry event that I possibly can get to. And that's it. And you can find me on my Facebook page. I have a new page I just started this year, Love Shamar. And also there's a Fire, Jazz, and Poetry page where we promote every event that we know that's going on in Savannah with the Spitfire Poetry Group and Firebrand Fridays and Spitfire Saturdays. So if you are interested in poetry in the Savannah area, you can look at those pages and get all of the information and see what's coming up.
Yeah, and I would say, you know, as someone who frequently kind of just go out, hide in the corner and watch, even if you feel like you're not interested, you go into a place where you have people that are pouring out their hearts and soul. And, you know, regardless if it's your style of poetry or whatever, the feeling of, you know, camaraderie of a group is usually so awesome. And it's so much encouragement and so much motivation and love. Yes.
And that's my thing too. I like the hostess part of it. I like to be able to come and meet you and talk to you and see how you heard about the event and make you feel comfortable, because a lot of times people come out by themselves, and I don't want you to feel like you're sitting there by yourself. That at least you know somebody. I'll come and check on you and talk to you. And I think that's one of the things that I love the most, other than doing the poetry and hearing the other poets, is getting to know people. And I encourage people. I want people to network. I want people to get to know one another and find out what it is that you do. Is it something, you know, can we exchange services? Is it something you need that I can provide? And so I'm working on promoting that a little bit more this year. We're starting Wednesday with the promotion of the networking session of the Fire, Jazz, and Poetry.
Oh, that's awesome. That is excellent. Definitely, I feel too that when you're in the room with creative people, you know, just that energy of creativity, and then to add in there the energy of networking and business, you know, and kind of merge them together. I definitely think that when you, as a poet, when you write certain things down as far as your desires and things like that, it's like instant love messages to the universe, you know, right? So
I love it. And you'll find that, like you said, people have different styles, but you'll find that people get up there. So as a poet, you feel like the poetry that you have written is specifically about you and nobody else. It's just yours. And then you get up there and there are bound to be 2 or more people sitting in that audience that live that poem that you just said, that you just came out of your heart and never expected anybody else to relate to. They live your poem. And so I love that about it too. It lets you know that you're not alone. You are not alone in this world. You're not alone in your thoughts. You're not alone in your struggles and your ways that you handle them. Somebody else is going through it too, or has, or what you're going through will help somebody else to be able to come through the same thing in a different way, especially if your poem is positive, like it has a good outcome.
I 100% believe that you know, once you can connect with people in that sense, you know, and so I absolutely love the idea of the poetry, like you said, the sharing of love there when you get out, when you go there. So
that makes me so happy. That's what I'm doing. I said I'm a love promoter. I just want everybody to love one another. Let's love each other. We will make this world a much better place if we just love one another.
Absolutely. The one of the purposes of this show is that connection. I definitely feel, like I told you before, when we reveal ourselves, like you do in poetry and things like that, when you reveal about yourself, you're instantly more connected with the people that you reveal to. And it's not necessarily, because I told something, but because revelation breeds that intimacy. You become more vulnerable. You become in a place where it's like, okay, take me as I am,
Yes.
and when it's received, you absolutely feel more connected to that person.
Yeah.
So part of this is about that, having my guests definitely feel more connected to the community. But I definitely see the correlation of how you allow people to do that same thing. I know from my own experience when I came in there, I felt instantly connected.
Oh, right.
Having, because it's so much respect for the craft and also for each other in that environment. And as a patron, I appreciate, having the opportunity to come out and be grown up in a grown up place and talk about grown up things.
Oh, this is making me so happy. I mean, I know that people enjoy it, and I know that people are coming back. And I'm getting a lot of new faces as well. Just about every other week, I have new faces. I have some repeat people. But to hear this is confirmation that I'm doing the right thing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. So where are you from? Where are you from, Love? I always call you Love, and I always say in my mind afterwards, I want to say Love Shamar, but I call it
Love is good. Love is good.
Love is so good.
Love is the best.
Yay!
I am from Washington, D.C., originally born and raised in Southeast.
Oh, okay.
And I've been here for 5 years now.
Okay.
And I love it. So, but this is the funny thing. My mom and I moved here to escape what? The snow. I was like, wait a minute. We left. We moved to get away from the snow, and we have snow.
Meanwhile,
We are shut down. There's still ice out here. I'm like, what? You know what?
Meanwhile, on Friday, my grown teenage kids were in the snow, like trying to catch hypothermia, like for hours.
Oh, that's awesome. Did they build a snowman?
They did everything in the snow.
That's so cute. And to me, I'm like, you know what? I haven't had enough snow. But it was nice. It was beautiful.
It was
looking at
so
it outside
gorgeous.
of my bedroom window. I was not going out there. You better bet that. But
Well,
it was pretty.
A little insight on me, I had never seen snow before.
Oh, wow.
So this past weekend, I was just like, I was looking out the window.
You weren't out there with them?
No, ma'am.
You have to be in snow.
Well, yeah, I for a moment, I
Okay.
had my moment, and then it was like, okay,
It's
the
cold.
snow is cold.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That makes me, I'm like, wow, you've never seen, and we have had some, we get blizzards and it's always snows. So every year it snows. We never miss snow. So.
It was kind of interesting because we were like looking for snow.
Aw.
My second host isn't here with us tonight, Mr. Muscle Rick. He's at home nursing a cold. We're
Because
gonna...
he was in the snow, perhaps. Maybe.
Well, he had to work in the snow, so that's
okay.
probably why.
He wasn't playing in the snow.
We don't think. We're not gonna say.
Well, I wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, I'll let him know. Hopefully he's listening. He better be listening while he's gone.
Okay,
He's not
right. Tune in.
But yeah, so we were like actively looking for snow on like Christmas Day, and then it was like, oh, there's, because we were trying to see where we can go that was close, and then it came to us.
Snow in Savannah.
Yes. So growing up in Washington, D.C., you say on the Southeast. Tell me about what is good about growing up in the Southeast of Washington.
You don't really realize it until you move, what the benefits are of being raised in the city. especially the nation's capital.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I can't compare because I wasn't like I don't have any. I can't say. All I can tell you is that I was exposed to a lot of different cultural things.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of educational opportunities and business.
Mm-hmm.
More business oriented, I think, than it is in the South, and the diversity of the people.
Yeah.
Right. When I went to Poetry Night in DC, it was downtown, like on 14th Street, U Street, areas like that, where there's so many colleges, and so there are people from all over the world. So you hear poetry from different perspectives, different outlooks, and I think that's one of the main things is the diversity of the culture and the business opportunities.
Yeah.
More money.
Yeah.
Most certainly. Yeah. But it changes your, it gives you a different outlook on what's important. So I like it here. I like that it's a little bit more slower. You can kind of take more time with you.
Yeah.
Instead of being so outwardly go, go, go.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good. As a young kid in Washington, D.C., what are like some of your earliest memories of Washington, D.C.?
I was a cheerleader. And when I was in elementary school, and I went to a school called Orr Elementary. And I am Facebook friends with some of the people from Orr Elementary. Like, they found me or I found them in the last couple of years. And it's so funny. It was a school that didn't have walls. It was a, they didn't have, like, set classroom settings. And if you read, I read on a 7th grade level when I was in the 3rd grade or something like that. And they would put you over there, you know, in that section. And it was interesting. It was a very culturally aware school, elementary school. And that's one of my main memories.
Yeah. Being a cheerleader.
Being a cheerleader and and going to Orr and going on trips, going on school trips to the monument and the Capitol and stuff like that. It was a different time.
Yeah. So how would you classify yourself, like, as a child? Or were you that inquisitive child? What type of
Well, I read a lot. I can tell you this. My mom gave me extra homework. She would, even though it was an advanced school anyway, I guess, maybe kind of advanced, I asked her, I begged her for some Encyclopedia Britannicas, the white ones, and they had the beautiful pictures. Do you remember those?
Yes.
And so
I had my mom purchase a set too.
Well, my mama didn't play that stuff. I was going to use those encyclopedias. So
I think I already love your mom.
So when I got home, after I finished my homework, I had to either do a report or write a story. And so I think my mom saw in me that I was a writer then, and she cultivated it and made me use it. So I remember that. I remember doing reports on stuff that I wanted. Like I wanted a snake because we couldn't have cats and dogs because I was allergic. So I did a report on snakes, and then I decided I didn't want one anymore after I did the report.
After you did the research.
So I learned how to research. I learned how to research as a child. Mama was serious. I was going to use my brain.
Yeah.
And I thank her so much because now I'm having a book. My first poetry book is being published.
Yes.
In February, I'm having a birthday party book signing on Poetry Night at Exclusives on February 21st. You guys follow me on Love Shamar so you can come out and support me. This is my first ever birthday party. I am turning 43.
How awesome is that? How awesome is
and
that?
I'm finally at a point in my life where I actually want to have a party.
Look at
So I'm having a birthday party, and it'll be my book release. So I'll have some copies there for sale, and I'll sign it for you. And I also have a novel that I've written that I'm actually still actively looking for an agent to promote it because I see it as movies and TV series. So I'm not going to self-publish that. I'm just so. You know, an agent.
put it out there.
Yes. So Mama cultivated that talent in me, and I'm just extremely, extremely thankful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good for Mama. I love it. I think that, the extra work, because I have some teenage girls myself, and that's something that we used to do, like summertime. I say, look, summertime, you don't stop learning.
Right. You need to write a paper.
Yeah, my mom did
something.
that to us. I would get those books, those thick not highlights. They would get those too.
Mm-hmm.
Those thick workbooks, summer workbooks, and work through.
She did not play.
Yeah, so, definitely instill that work ethic and, to use your brain, because I think a lot of times, too, some parents really instill the using your hands as opposed to, using the mind.
We scrub walls and we learned that you do not need to put your hand on that wall.
To walk up the
straight.
steps.
Yes, because come spring and fall, you were going to be scrubbing that wall. So she did good. She was awesome. My mama is the bomb. She really is.
There's nothing wrong with that. Let's take a quick little break from Miss Love Shamar. Let me bring you guys back to reminding you that you are listening to WRUU-LP Savannah, Georgia. This is 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. Also, I want to invite you out. The Savannah Influencers present their inaugural community event, Savannah Influencers Give Back, a night of benefiting safe shelter. The event will feature music, food, empowering messages, and a vendor pop-up shop on Thursday, January 18th at 6 p.m. at the Georgia State Railroad Museum on Louisville Road in Savannah. Now, for more information, visit SavannahInfluencers.com. And also, if you enjoy the programming here on WRUU-LP, please support our station with a donation. Now, as an individual, you can give any amount. You can become a basic station member, or you can become a serious fan of the station. So to check out membership rates and to donate to the station, go to www.wruu.org/individual and select to donate monthly or subscribe to an annual membership. Again, to donate to the station, go to www.wruu.org/individual and select to donate monthly or subscribe to an annual membership. Knowing that, that helps the station to stay on the air and bring you the diverse types of programming that we can, like having Miss Love Shamar here with us, telling us about herself and about, her time growing up in Washington, D.C. Where did you go to school for after like high school and things like that? Love, where was your mind when you got out of high school?
I didn't like school, and I decided that I didn't want to do it. I really didn't want to do it. I went to school to be a medical assistant at the National Education Center. And I did that for a little while, and I went to Northern Virginia Community College for a while and took some honors classes and was wondering why. And I always was wondering why am I doing this? I do not want to do this. And I always, school was never one of my big things. At all. When I was used to, one of my memories when I was in, when I went to school, when I went to elementary school, the first time I went to school, I came home and I said, Mommy, I don't want to go to school. I want to stay home with you and go shopping.
I love it. Sounds like the life.
Yeah, because she was a stay-at-home mom, so she had taught me how to read and write and do everything, and I was wondering why I was there with those little people that couldn't do it. And so, and so I had some social issues. No, truthfully, because of that, because of me being smart, and I was really mature. And so I was wondering, why was I there with these people that needed to take naps, and they peed on that side? I was like, Mama, why am I here? It was just horrible, you know, to me as a child. And I carried that throughout the whole time I was in school. Yeah. And so I never really liked school. Yeah. So I didn't want to pursue anything further.
Outside. Yeah, I definitely understand that.
And I was always an entrepreneur. I was always in some type of business, so I just could never. And I would say, well, maybe I could get a degree in marketing, or maybe I could get a degree in business, and I just always would come back to the same thing with why?
I'm already doing it.
Why? And now that I'm writing the way I am, I'm like, oh, that's why, because you're a writer. You know, never to say that. Education is something to be frowned upon, and everybody gets in where they fit in, and I say go do it, get your degree if that's something that's going to actually further you in life. Just actually the college experience itself is very good for networking. You meet a lot of different people. Yes, you do. So I would definitely say to the younger people, if you don't like school, so what? Go ahead and go get your degree, because we're living in a different time now. And you need, if you're going to make any type of money at all on someone's job, you need to have a piece of paper.
Yeah. So. And then, but also on the flip side, don't limit yourself because you feel like, you know, school, because some of the most amazing people, you know, like yourself. And I like to think I'm a little amazing as well.
I think you are as well.
Because, like, for myself, high school was, like, one of those same things. When you have a parent that kind of pushed you further than other parents push their kids, and then you go to school, there's that sense of being bored.
Oh, man.
And then, you know, I know back then, a couple of years ago when we were in school, you know, even then crowding was an issue, budgeting was an issue, money was an issue. And then now you have, you know, teachers that are as stressed out as anyone else, you know, going to school and trying to teach. I can't imagine that. So, yeah, I just, you know, part of that is you being able to help people, to teach them and learning who they are, was you knowing who you are. You know, you can't help people with an issue that you yourself, you know, don't know how to maneuver through.
Yes, ma'am.
And I definitely think that when you fight against what is true, like you said, look, I don't like school. You could have probably went to school for, you know, 8 years and then end up like just in debt and 8 years lost.
Seriously in debt, yes. And then that's it. And I went to school all this time, and I don't even really want to do this.
Exactly.
So one of my things with learning yourself, loving yourself, getting to know yourself is what do you do for free that gives you joy? What do you do that you don't have to get paid to do, that you wake up wanting to do? Yeah, that's what you should do. That's what you should make your career. You know, something that you love. Yeah, really. And so that being able to write, and oh man, I'm so happy. I am so happy just being able to do what I do for free. Like, I don't plan to write a poem unless someone asks me. If I'm asked to write a poem about a particular subject, then I plan it, I research it, I think about it to get inspiration. But I wake up sometimes before I get out of the bed and I write 2 or 3 poems. Yeah. And so that's something that I should definitely get paid for.
Yes, absolutely.
I should definitely make that my career choice, because I'll do it for free. Yes. And people ask people that, and they be like, I like to cook, but I don't see how that would. Or we immediately begin to doubt ourselves or our chosen talent or our gifts, and try to put money on it, put a denomination on it, and you can't. You have to just do it. You just have to do it, because you never know. You could end up cooking for a billionaire, and you just cook just like you do for your kids, and you get up and you're cooking. And
exactly. And people, like you said, kind of think that you have to put
you got to go to business school. you gotta go get, you gotta get a chef license. You know, you have to do all these things, and really, you just need to cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the
Give
things,
the food away, honey. Somebody will snatch you up.
Exactly. We were talking earlier about, you know, the universe and, you know, kind of going towards some of your other things that you're interested in.
Yes.
We were talking about, you know, when I said just kind of putting those love letters out to the universe. But on the flip side, too, I think that we just have to worry about being the best us. Whatever that thing is, do it the best way that you can, and then the universe will figure out the way to let you be compensated by that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
To let that be your profession or whatever, because it's not a profession, it's more of a calling or a destiny. You know, so you just be the best you, and then the universe will decide and tell you how to get.
As I'm watching you describe that, and you're so serious, and your eyes are lit up, and I felt a little sad for the people that never learned that, and they just work to make money.
Oh yeah.
To pay the bills.
Yeah.
I mean, that we have to pay the bills, but that's all they do their entire lives, and they never get the opportunity or take the opportunity to do what it is that gives them joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I definitely believe that is a sad life.
It's a sad cycle.
Yeah.
It's a cycle that we get caught up in.
Yeah.
Where we just go to work to pay the bills and go home and go to sleep and get up and go to work to pay the bills, and you never really sit down and just do what makes you happy.
Yeah. Absolutely. You gotta follow your bliss. You gotta follow those things that bring you joy.
Yes, ma'am.
We talked about love above all things. You said love is good, and I love love. Love is awesome.
Love Shamar.
We talked about self-expression and the importance of self-expression.
Yes,
and as another one of your passions. One of the things that you said you were passionate about is definitely astrology, numerology, crystals and stones, that whole realm of things going on. Tell us about that. What drew you to that realm, or, you know?
Okay. I can't say what drew me or how I got there, but I've always been fascinated by the invisible. I've always been fascinated by getting to know myself. And so as a child, I would read the astrology columns. I'm a Pisces. Again, my birthday is February the 22nd. My party is on the 21st, y'all. Come on out. So it's just a natural affinity that I have, but I never could relate to the sun sign astrology. It was never me. It was never my day. It was never like my personality or anything like that.
Yeah.
And as a child.
That's interesting.
Right. But as I grew older, probably by the time I got in my 30s, I realized, you know what, that is me. Yeah, that's me. And it takes learning yourself, you know, to be able to see yourself, because you don't want to see the negative in yourself. You're like, no, that's not me. I'm not like that. But actually, yeah, that's you. So I've always been fascinated with that. And I didn't have, for a long time, like if I ask you what's your sign, my next question is going to be, well, do you know what's your ascendant? Or your moon sign. Like, I really get into it because your sun sign is just one aspect, and there's so much more, you know, involved with it, and you need to know your time of birth, and and I love numerology as well, because it's another thing on getting to know yourself. People kind of get it misconstrued and think that, oh, that's just what those people say, but it actually is a tool for you to know you. I'm actually helping a young lady now do some astrology and numerology, you know, charts and reports and things to get to know herself a little better. And in this conversation we had with actually going over her charts, we realized one of the ways that she communicates has been hindering her in relationships.
Yeah.
But it's not because she wants to communicate that way. It's because that's the way everything was aligned when she came when she took her first breath out of her mom's womb, you know, when she came out. And she said, that's who she was.
Yeah.
And so we're actually being able to help her help herself when she sees herself about to communicate in that way, that she can make a change.
Yeah.
Because just because it's like that when you were born doesn't mean that you can't work with it, make it work with you instead of against you. You're still going to be you. Mm-hmm. But being aware of who you are and how you operate, a lot of times, kind of, you know, it helps you out. Yeah. And I love the stones and the crystals and stuff like that. Amethyst is my birthstone. And just to know that each and every rock that God made has an element, it has a personality, it has something to help us here as humans on this planet. It just makes me excited.
Exactly. I think that with topics like that, astrology, numerology, and things like that, and you see the patterns, and you start to get an understanding of what it is, you get an understanding, like you said, of who you are.
Yes.
But you also get an understanding of your place, your magnificently powerful place that, you know, you have in this grand universe. And when you recognize or actualize your power, like, wow, that's me. Yes. You know, that's me.
Yes.
And that is
connected.
Yes, that is so exciting.
You're connected to everything.
Yeah.
You are connected. And I think that's one of the main things too, to see that, oh, you know, the stars and the sun and the moon and the planets, they're doing their thing, but it affects me because I'm connected to all.
I'm not I've never like really dived into a lot of astrology and numerology until I started. But I haven't even really dove into it a lot.
What's your sun sign?
I guess that means Cancer. July 16th, yes.
Awesome.
But one of the things that, as I started getting more in tune with myself, it was like an automatic draw towards these things and understanding. One of the things that I started to really feel was like that draw from the moon. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
and I never, you know, I would be one of those people, you know, a couple of years ago that was like, what are you talking about? You know, I'm a Cancer, whatever.
Like whatever that means, it means you're ruled by the moon.
You know, and then it'll be like, you know, I'll see some, you know, a horoscope or something, a description of Cancer or how we're supposed to act and be, and like you said, it's like, yeah,
you don't see yourself.
That's me, as the tears coming out.
And then you're like, oh, that is me.
All that emotion. What are you talking about?
Yes, ma'am. I got to double. My moon is Cancer. I have a Cancer moon. But yes, it definitely helps you get to know who you are. And be able, like I said, make it work for you instead of against you.
Exactly.
Because there are some conflicting things sometimes, and you can fix it. You can work with it. You can make it. You can empower yourself.
Yeah. One of the first things I tell people about change is that you can't change things that you don't accept.
What?
You know, you cannot change something that you don't accept for what it is. You have to accept it for what it is in order to change it.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, definitely when you kind of see these descriptions and ways and things like that, and as much as I want to say, no, we're not emotional people. Y'all just don't understand.
Very, very emotional.
You know what I mean? But then when you kind of take that step back and you say, oh, okay, that is me.
Yeah,
you know?
That's me. And so because I'm super emotional, it's ridiculous. Pisces are emotional, Cancer are emotional, and I have that Cancer moon. I cry a lot. Like, I'm always crying. And I used to hate it. And now I'm just like, I'm crying. And it's okay. And I just cry and keep it moving. I cry at poetry night. I be like, y'all making me cry. And I probably say that every other Wednesday. For real. Because I'm just emotional. And once you can embrace it, instead of fighting, I used to hate it. I used to be so mad I was going to cry. Because I knew I was going to cry. I cry off commercials sometimes. Oh, Lord, don't let me get one of them little puppy commercials and they abuse the dogs. And I will cry, honey. I cried off a Lion King. I cry.
Let me tell
and I've learned to embrace that as a strength. I'm going to cry. It's okay.
It takes a strong person to cry. I definitely believe that.
It's okay.
And
cry
then admit that they cry. It's funny. This is probably, but I would watch, what is that show? Dance Mom. Not Dance Moms, the other one.
With the competition?
Yes. Bring It
okay.
On or something like that with the competitions. And I kid you not, every time they would get to the place where they're dancing and they're in the competition, I start crying. And I'm like, what is
the
going
emotion
on?
overload. Yes.
And then, like you said, when you kind of find that thing, and then if you want to go deeper than that and kind of figure out, well, what is this? Why am I crying? You can absolutely do that because you're tapping into who you are.
You know, and you embrace who you are.
And from that little experience, and I would watch, I binge watch the show.
Okay.
Just wait until it comes on and watch all the episodes. And I'll have like 2 days of just crying at kids dancing.
Oh, man. I would say it was the accomplishment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It was the accomplishment that made you emotional.
Exactly.
So we identify tears with weakness or with sadness, but a lot of times it's just an overload of emotion, and a lot of times it can be a good feeling. It just makes you cry. Yeah. So that's good. So accomplishment is one of your things. That's probably something with your ascendant.
Here we go. I'm
gonna get you a chart done, honey.
Absolutely. I'm so with it. I want my chart done.
I got you.
Hold on a second. Let me remind. Let's remind our listeners that if you enjoy the programming here at WRUULP, to please support the station with a donation. As an individual, give any amount. You can become a basic station member or become a serious fan of the station. So to check out membership rates, or to donate to the station, go to www.wruu/individual. Select the donate monthly or subscribe to an annual membership. Again, to donate to the station, go to www.wruu.org/individual and select to donate monthly or subscribe to an annual membership. Thank you guys for listening to and supporting WRUULP, where we can come out and do this on a Monday night. I continue to tell you guys that, Ray Carr has really no reason to be on the radio but to bring awesome people on here and introduce them to you guys. So I really appreciate you guys supporting the station, supporting the show, supporting Miss Love Shamar, supporting open mic poetry night on Wednesday night.
Fire, jazz, and poetry at Exclusives Restaurant and Lounge, 2203 Greenwood Street. It is a laid-back, grown folk atmosphere, and I invite everyone, if you have not gone to Exclusives, to go check them out. They're doing something every day of the week. Actually, I think tonight they're having game night as we speak, so they're in there playing cards and doing some different things, and you can always find something good to do there. The owner of the establishment, I love this woman, Tanya Boyd. She allowed me to start my poetry night there last February, and we've been going strong for a year. On those nights when we had 2 or 3 people come, she would always encourage me and say, baby, just keep on, it's gonna be okay, don't worry about it, you'll get a good crowd. And she is loving, she is charming, and she is an awesome business owner. I love her very much.
Good.
So y'all go check out Exclusives. If you're on Facebook, they have a page that you could follow. Exclusives Restaurant and Lounge.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Love, let's talk a little bit about your book that you have coming out that you'll be having at your party. What was the inspiration behind the book that you wrote?
When I started Poetry Night last year, the reason why was because I realized that the gift that I had been given. I was holding it. I wasn't sharing it with just, I would read it to my family, but that was it. And I had journals and journals of poetry.
Yeah.
And I decided to share my heart, and couldn't really find poetry night here how I wanted it, where it was convenient for me. So I began to host the event. And after that, I realized that this poetry, even though I'm getting on stage and I'm sharing it, it's still just sitting here. And I want to share it with the world. So I started looking through my poems. Most of my stuff is extremely personal. And of course, but someone still could relate to it, right?
Yeah.
And I started writing for the Tribune, and actually purposely writing pieces that were not about me, that were things that were a little bit more broad. And so I began to really look at the change from when I was 18 to now, in my 40s, to be able to just the change in my voice, the change in my writing, the change in my subject matter. And so this book is a collection of poems that are contrast, I would say. It is entitled A Modern Day Black Woman's Book of Poetry, and it's volume 1. Growth and change.
Yay.
And so I'm really excited about being able to share that part of me, just not just the pretty parts. Some of it is very not that nice.
Yeah.
And then some of it is. So it's a contrast.
Yeah.
Growth and change.
Awesome. Would you like to share a poem with us as we kind of wind down? Believe it or not, we've been here running our mouths talking for about 50 minutes.
This was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me on this show.
You are so much fun. You are quite welcome. You have an open invitation
All
to
right.
be on my show anytime. As a co-host, as a guest, whatever. You are awesome, and I yes, this was absolutely fun.
I had a really good time. And I want to read you something that, this is one of my favorite pieces that I do now. I wrote about women. Give me 1 sec.
While you are getting that together, I'm going to go ahead and remind you guys again that Savannah Influencers presents their inaugural community event. Savannah Influencers Give Back, a night out benefiting Safe Shelter. Now, the event will feature music, food, empowering messages, a vendor pop-up shop on Thursday, January 18th at 6 p.m. at the Georgia State Railroad Museum on Louisville Road in Savannah. Now, for more information, you can visit SavannahInfluencers.com.
All right. So this piece has quickly become one of my favorites. It's called Grand. Have you heard it?
I don't think I have.
Okay.
I don't think I have. This will be my first time.
All right. I have to do it in my inside voice. I move to the rhythm of an ancient beat, whether my face is bare or beat, clothes professional or down for the street. My style is always unique. Hair can vary from day to week. I can rock Egypt or Mozambique, descendant from Queens. Who you calling a freak? You should kneel at my feet. The founders of agriculture, we sowed and reaped, orchestrated harvests so our people could eat. The first to chart the stars and decipher their mystique. The wise of the tribe, the spiritual guides, mothers, daughters, sisters, niece, aunties, grands, and great-grands. Do me a favor, ladies, and stand. Take a bow for me and think about this. Without us, people would not be. Wow. This fact alone is worthy of pride, given the most respected assignment from the Most High. We cradle, birth, and nourish the future. Bodies detailed for awe and amazement, not amusement. Breasts like badges of honor nurture children. The very gateway to life rests between our legs, in spite of the lies we've been fed. Called baby mamas, tricks, hoes, hoochies, and bees. The image of sad and lost sex objects is what they want us to believe, ascribing to everybody else's standards of beauty. Discover who we truly are, magnificent creatures in all of our glory. Take some time to uncover her story. Know who you are and what you were created to be. Do not settle for less from anyone, for you, my sister, are worthy. Choose a mate that truly sees what being a woman means, the one to be revered, protected, and cherished, for without us, the human race would perish. Wear your title proud and say it with me loud. I am woman. I am woman. I am woman. The womb of man.
Yes, we gotta give those. We gotta give
Snap
those
it up.
snaps. Oh, that was beautiful, love. I did hear that poem before once you started.
Yeah.
Once you started, I was like,
One
yes,
of
I
my
heard that.
favorites. One of my favorites. I love that.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing it with us here. As we wind down, we have a couple more minutes, and the last question I usually ask is, given the opportunity to, speak to, the millions of listeners that are listening to us this evening, get an opportunity to say whatever it is that you put your message out there into the world outside of your poetry. But what would you say?
I would say, discover who you truly are. Like I say in my poem, discover who you are. Discover how that relates to people, the way that you share your gifts. Learn who you are and love who you are.
Yeah.
In order to do that, you have to learn who you are. So getting to know yourself and loving yourself is the message that I would give to the million of listeners, just to take some time and begin to experience you if you haven't already been doing so. And as you learn who you are, accept who you are. Fix the things that need to be changed. And just be you and love you.
Yeah, I love that. Love, love, love. We love here.
We love.
We love
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Miss Love Shamar, thank you so very much for coming out and for doing this, and for gracing the station with your presence and the love and the positivity. That is very much appreciated. As we go out into the world, love is something that will be in every situation, that you would hope that that prevails above everything. And
That is the hope.
Yeah. And I'm excited to know someone else that has that as their hope. That even if it isn't what it is every moment of the day, that is the hope and that is the goal. So, that is absolutely good to know that we have someone in our community just thinking about love. And I love thinking about love, but love is love.
Love is love. Where would we be without love?
Oh my goodness, no place. No place that you want to be, actually.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this. This was like sitting down and talking to a soul sister, and I appreciate this so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys have been tuned into Let's See Who My Friends Are. I am your host here, Ray Carr. I've had the wonderful Miss Love Shamar here with us tonight. Please look on the Facebook page at WRUU Friends. Share her contact.
Yes, please. Come out to my party.
Come out to the parties. Come on out to, poetry night. Express yourself. I mean, you don't pay anything to get up on the stage and just, express yourself.
That's right.
So come on out, express yourself, say the things, and it's always a welcoming, inviting, comfortable environment. I mean, as someone who kind of looked at the stage and was like, I don't know, to get up there and to actually do it and actually feel at home there.
And do an awesome job.
Thank you so much.
You did an awesome job.
Thank you so much.
She finished her poem and said, I'm not really a poet. And so all the poets in the room was like, I'm mad. She said she's not a poet. Yes, you are, ma'am. Yes, you are.
Awesome. Well, you guys, I'm going to let you go. I can hang out here all night long and talk to Miss Love, but I think she wants to go home. I think her husband might want her to come home tonight. So we're going to let her go, and I'm going to let you guys go, and also remind you to join me here back on next Monday at 10 o'clock. We're here from 10 to 11 p.m. on Mondays. So let's see who my friends are. We'll have another guest on, or it'll be myself and Mr. Muscle Rick, hanging out with you guys on Monday night. I look forward to being here. I look forward to hearing from you guys and seeing you guys share Miss Love Shamar's post and her information, and also seeing you guys come on out and kind of meet her in person. Now that you know all her business.
Yes, come give me a hug.
Yay.
Peace and blessings.
Wonderful. Good night, you guys. And why it's not doing what it's supposed to.